Welcome to the Binge List, fellow TV and film fanatics. I'm Greg and I make recommendations for TV shows and movies that you can access from the comfort of your own home. And in 2024, it was an incredible year for bingers like myself. Honestly, there have been so many shows that it's hard to know which ones are worth your time. So I wanted to talk about the best ones that were released in 2024 that are on all the big streaming services, except Apple TV Plus, because my last video was on the best Apple TV originals from 2024. So not going to include things like Shrinking, Silo, Masters of the Air, and Disclaimer, any of their shows that totally would have made this list. And you can check those out right here if you want to. And lastly, before we get started, I do want to get back to all my subscribers on the channel because we have started to make a little bit of money. So like, comment your favorite series down below and subscribe to the channel and you'll get entered into a drawing for a $100 gift card at the end of the month. But as always, stop mindlessly scrolling, stop wasting your time. Let's jump in and check out the list.
An exceptional assassin. It never looks the same way twice.
First up on our list today is one of the newest options on here, and this is the Peacock original series, The Day of the Jackal, which is based on the book of the same name written by Frederick Forsyth. This one is a thrilling spy series that follows this elite sniper who's also a master of disguise and a highly trained assassin known as the Jackal, who coldly carries out hits for hire. Following an attack on a high-profile and notorious politician, he is offered the riskiest job he's taken on yet, one that could pay him enough to leave this life for good, but his work has attracted the attention of British intelligence, and what follows is this thrilling cat-and-mouse chase across Europe as the Jackal works to carry out his new mission. And while the hunt continues and more casualties are caught in the crossfire, it becomes clear that there may be other forces pulling the strings behind the scenes. First, I'll say this is an outstanding story with a very intense narrative that follows this high-stakes game of cat and mouse between the Jackal and an equally skilled and determined British intelligence officer. But the series really lives and dies on the performance of Eddie Redmayne. He delivers a tremendous performance as this enigmatic and lethal Jackal character, which is in my opinion a far cry from his other prominent roles, but he does crush it and he brings this intriguing gun for hire to life. There are some other prominent cast members in this one, including Lashana Lynch and Charles Dance, with a lot of others here that provide solid support and quality performances, but really this is Redmayne's show. On top of all that, it does give you the stylish and suspenseful moments of the spy genre, including some incredible visuals as they travel across Europe and more than your fair share of intense action sequences that delivers an overall suspenseful atmosphere. So if you're a fan of spy thrillers, quality performances, and high stakes action, The Day of the Jackal is definitely worth checking out.
Power must be controlled. Fear forged into obedience.
Next up is one of the series from 2024 that I was looking forward to the most, and this is The Secret Level that we got in December on Prime Video. And I mentioned this last time I recommended this series for some context, but this series was brought to life by the same team who created Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. And this is another anthology series where each episode tells a story of a specific games universe, including both new and classic titles, video games, board games. And because every episode features a new unique set of characters, this does boast one of the most talented casts on the list here, with Keanu Reeves, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Kevin Hart, Ariana Greenblatt, Claudia Dumit, and so many others on the list. And the animation in the show is actually really awesome. It's very beautiful with a variety of different styles depending on the game's universe that they're adapting. And again, with it being an anthology series, it does explore a variety of genres throughout the episodes, with some being drama, humor, and even hints of romance, but it mostly leans heavily into action and adventure. But for any gamer, hardcore, or general, it does deliver a ton of nostalgia. So far, they've explored Dungeons and Dragons, Seafood, New World, Unreal Tournament, Pac-Man, Crossfire, Armored Core, and my personal favorite, the Warhammer 40,000 episode, which I have watched a number of times at this point. As a fan of the tabletop game, it's amazing to see this Blade Guard unit come to life and just tear things up. But I digress. There are some remaining episodes that are set to go to the worlds of Exodus, God of War, Honor of Kings, Mega Man, Concord, so a lot to look forward to. And the only potential negative that I do want to mention is I did read some have criticized the inconsistent quality of some of the episodes and lack of depth in some of the storylines, which I feel like is pretty typical for an episode-to-episode anthology series that have really short episodes, so it gets straight to the point most of the time and leaves little room to explore a lot beyond that. But I was pumped about this one, and it certainly didn't disappoint in my opinion, with this diverse range of games being adapted, so absolutely worth checking out for yourself, even if it's just an episode for a game that you love.
Men die. Oil companies don't.
Next up, I want to talk about 5 different titles that are actually in the Taylor Sheridan universe, comprised of these gritty dramas with complex characters and morally ambiguous storylines. So if you're unfamiliar with Sheridan, he's created a world of tough, often morally comprised characters, navigating the complexities of family, power, corruption. So first on this is the newest series on the list for Sheridan, and this is Landman, which is a modern day Western that explores the lives of hardworking oil rig workers. This one here does star Billy Bob Thornton, but does have this really solid cast supporting him. It includes John Hamm, Demi Moore, Ali Larter, and it is this gritty and authentic look at the challenges faced by blue-collar workers in this really evolving and changing industry. Then there is the Jeremy Renner-led crime thriller Mayor of Kingstown. This one explores the corrupt world of the prison system in Kingston, Michigan, where the business of incarceration is really the only thriving business around. And it follows the life of Mike McCluskey, played by Renner, who is this power broker who navigates the complex dynamics of the prison system for a fee. Another solid option from Sheridan here, and for spy thriller enthusiasts, is the Zoe Saldana-led series Lioness. And this is probably Sheridan's most action-packed series here, where we follow Saldana as Joe, who leads this team of female agents dubbed the Lioness team on dangerous undercover missions to dismantle terrorist organizations. And this one is a thrilling ride with plenty of twists and turns that keeps you engaged. And as this show continues, we do explore more complex moral dilemmas and dangerous missions, and they even interject some family drama into the story that Sheridan is really known for. And the last Sheridan show here that I'll talk about, which is probably his most popular option, it's the Western series Yellowstone. And we did see this epic Western drama get the continuation of season 5 here in 2024. But if you're unfamiliar, this series does follow the Dutton family, who owns this immense cattle ranch, and explores themes of family drama, corruption, power, and the good old American West here. And it has a ton going on, but it is an intriguing series that keeps you glued in, and I was pumped to see this continuation hit here this year. So if you're looking for intense drama or complex characters, then the Taylor Sheridan universe from 2024 is definitely worth exploring for yourself.
I'd say no monster's gonna get you when I'm here. Then a real monster showed up.
Up next is the highest rated series on today's list according to IMDb, and this is Netflix's original animated series Arcane, which is a series that I was really late to jump into, and a couple comments strongly recommended that I jump in and check this one out. And yes, this is an animated series, but it is certainly not your child's cartoon. This is a critically acclaimed animated series set in the world of the incredibly popular video game League of Legends, and it follows the stories of Vi and Jinx as they navigate the dangerous and divided cities of Piltover and Zon. And besides having one of the best opening credit scenes with an outstanding soundtrack, this is a series with some truly stunning animation. The series looks like it is pulled straight out of a video game, with an animation style that delivers some intricate character design, some vibrant colors, and some really cool and fluid animations. And it's not just a series that looks cool, it does have a lot of substance and emotional depth to it, as the story explores themes of family, friendship, corruption, and power. And one of the coolest aspects of this series here for me is the dynamic between these two sisters, Vi and Jinx, played by Haley Steinfeld and Ella Purnell. They create these intriguing and complex characters with compelling backstories and motivations. They give both of these characters a ton of emotion, and it feels like a character you really want to root for and you can kind of get emotionally invested into. And I'm also a sucker for a show with some intriguing world building, and this one here explores this rich and detailed world of League of Legends with this wealth of history and lore, delving into political and social tensions, magic, technology, warring factions, and so much more. So I definitely want to recommend Arcane. It has been praised for exceptional storytelling, stunning visuals, strong character development, and it's a must-watch for fans of the game, obviously, but it's also perfect for sci-fi and fantasy series enthusiasts too.
America's a hustle. Not that I'm complaining.
Now, I have recommended this title recently, but I have to include it on this list, and this is The Penguin. This is a direct spin-off of Matt Reeves' The Batman movie, with Colin Farrell playing the notorious gangster Oswald Cobblepot, who becomes this iconic Batman villain, the Penguin. This series takes place immediately following the events of that movie and dives deep into this criminal underworld of Gotham City as we follow Cobblepot's rise to power. And you cannot mention this series without praising Colin Farrell's performance. It is truly incredible. It's a total physical transformation with prosthetics and costumes, but what is even more impressive is the way that he adapted how he spoke, walked, and his mannerisms to flesh out this iconic character. And it is all done with purpose, showing why the Penguin is the way he is and does the things he does and even walks the way that he does. It is some of the most incredible character development in a series that I've seen recently, but it's also safe to say this is a phenomenal story too that is filled with twists and turns, corruption, backstabbing, and everything you love about a great mafia crime story. And for superhero fans, it is cool to explore this part of Gotham City without the interference of that pesky Batman character that we've seen thousands of times. The story's written really well with numerous intriguing characters beyond Cobblepot 2, including Christina Milioti as Sophia Falcone, Renzi Feliz as Victor Aguilar, plus a ton of others who are all vying for the top spot during this power vacuum happening during the series. And I said this before and I want to say it again, I'm not sure how many iterations of Gotham there has been at this point, but Matt Reeves' universe is one of my personal favorites. It looks and feels like a real city. It's dark, it's gritty, and it fits the narrative perfectly. So 100% check out The Penguin. It is a well-made series with some iconic characters and an incredible performance from Colin Farrell.
You've been carjacked, right? Don't turn around. This won't take long.
Another series that I've recommended several times on this channel and one that absolutely deserves a spot on this list is Reacher. This action-packed thriller based on the Jack Reacher novels by Lee Childs follows the former military policeman turned drifter. Reacher's sharp investigative instincts and unshakable sense of justice inevitably draws him into these complex situations literally wherever he goes. And as he uncovers webs of corruption and takes on powerful enemies, he does rely on his own skills, but his old friends and then allies that he meets along the way to pursue the truth and deliver justice in any way possible. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, I do love Alan Ritchson. His portrayal of Jack Reacher is one of the highlights of this series. Those who follow the channel know I loved him as an actor for a long time, and in this one he has a commanding physical presence and this stoic performance that does perfectly embody the character from the novels way more accurately than any previous adaptations. This show does have numerous elements involved, including mystery, suspense, thrills, even some romance there, but the action is front and center again in this series, packed with well choreographed and brutally intense fight scenes that showcase Reacher's formidable combat abilities and his no-nonsense personality. But beyond the action, one of the coolest parts of the series I thought was how this delved deep into Reacher's motivations, into the character himself, offering more than just its high-octane action sequences. Both seasons feature gripping mysteries that do help keep you hooked in, but it is really about the character himself. And in my opinion, Reacher's a must-watch. It's a highly satisfying action thriller with a standout performance from Ritchson, expertly crafted fight scenes, and a compelling narrative that will definitely keep you engaged.
You need to go home. You come from a world of rules, of laws. You should not be alone.
My next pick is the Amazon original series Fallout, which is a live-action sci-fi adaptation of the beloved video game. We pick up in this one 2 centuries after a catastrophic nuclear war, and the story centers around Vault Dweller Lucy, played by Ella Purnell, and Wastelander Maximus, played by Aaron Moten, as they navigate the treacherous post-apocalyptic world. Early on, Lucy makes a decision to leave the safety of her vault and thrust herself into the dangers of the wasteland, but together they form an unlikely alliance and start exploring the irradiated ruins of Los Angeles, facing power-hungry factions, mutated creatures, and echoes of this lost civilization. Adaptations of video games in the past have not always gone over so well, but it's clear lately that the bar has been raised, and for the record, I am not a hardcore Fallout fan, so I did go into this with fresh eyes and I was blown away. So the show excels at world building, with the early episodes taking their time to establish the setting and the characters. While the pacing might feel a bit slow at first, it does pay off when the action and adventure kicks in because you understand what's going on. And then the visuals themselves, they're stunning, perfectly capturing this iconic wasteland aesthetic of the Fallout games. But again, this is a show where all that is great, but what really does keep you watching is these interesting characters. Originally, it's Lucy's innocence as she explores this world that she might not be ready to go out into, but quickly it turns into this dynamic that she has with Maximus and his hardened perspective, which creates an engaging contrast between the two. And I absolutely cannot recommend this show without shouting out Walton Goggins. He delivers a scene-stealing performance as the Ghoul character. So Fallout offers a captivating dive into a post-apocalyptic world, blending high-stakes action with these interesting relationships of its central characters. It's an experience that's fun, in my opinion, for longtime fans of the franchise and newcomers like myself.
We wanted to be doing what the boys were doing.
What were the boys doing?
Fundraising.
We are liberating funds for the Irish Republican Army.
Next on my list is the Hulu miniseries Say Nothing, and this is a captivating historical drama that dives into 4 decades of the Troubles in Northern Ireland, based on the acclaimed book of the same name, which is also based on true events. And the series tells 2 interconnected stories throughout. And the first one focuses on Jean McCorville, who was abducted by the IRA in 1972, and her family's relentless quest for answers. And then the second offers a compelling look at the inner workings of the IRA itself on the other side of this conflict, focusing in on the lives of Dolores and Marion Price. I'll get this out of the way right away. This is a slow burn, character-driven series that explores the complexities of its characters and their involvement in this conflict. It does avoid simple hero-villain dynamics, instead presenting deeply flawed individuals on all sides, and you'll witness moments of humanity from all these characters and compassion, even from those who committed atrocities throughout this series, making it hard to fully root for or against any of them. And these really interesting characters only enhance what's already an intriguing story. Spanning 40 years, the series weaves together family drama, betrayal, political intrigue, delving into a story that is emotionally charged, and it's also very thought-provoking. And across its 9 episodes, the show does manage to cover a lot of ground while keeping the storylines very clear and compelling. And despite the complexity of the plot, the production team does an excellent job of keeping you engaged as it ties together the 2 narratives all the way to the end. So if you're looking for a powerful exploration of a dark chapter in history, Say Nothing is a must-watch.
Is the best tool we have to de-escalate a situation that is spinning out of control.
Here to help.
You don't work for the US government. This is new to me. Both of you at the same time. I could use less of it.
Next, we have the return of The Diplomat for its highly anticipated 2nd season, which dropped in October of this year. And this is a gripping political thriller that sees Kerry Russell reprising her role as Kate, the US ambassador to the United Kingdom. And we see her navigate this escalating global tension and her personal challenges in season 2, which picks up right after the explosive cliffhanger of season 1. And now we're seeing alliances tested, secrets start to unravel, and the stakes for international stability have never been higher. And season 2 doesn't shy away from that same complex storytelling as season 1, weaving together the political intrigue, personal drama, and the high stakes espionage. And it is this intricate plot offering tons of twists and turns, blending together the heavy political minutiae with the emotional depth of these characters as they grapple with the aftermath of trauma and the weight of their decisions. And I love Rufus Sewell. He is an outstanding actor and he's great as Hall in this series, and his motives remain as mysterious as ever. But I do have to give it to Kerry Russell. She delivers just another stellar performance as Kate, capturing both her character's intelligence, cunning, diplomatic skills, and overall vulnerability. Plus, the chemistry between these characters is undeniable, adding this intriguing element to the story. So if you're looking for a series that combines political drama, compelling characters, and sharp writing, The Diplomat is a great watch.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
Let's move forward and talk about House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones spin-off that was back in full swing in its 2nd season this year. And this series takes us nearly 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, deep into the history of the Targaryen dynasty, and explores the lead up to the infamous Targaryen Civil War, better known as the Dance of the Dragons. And at the heart of this story is King Viserys, whose reign is plagued by a complex and contentious succession crisis. With rival factions vying for the Iron Throne, alliances are tested, betrayals run rampant, and tensions between political heirs spiral into brutal conflicts that threaten to consume the entire realm in fire and blood. Much like its predecessor, House of the Dragon continues with some incredible world building and rich lore. It is fascinating to see these stories hinted at in the original series brought to life, giving us a deeper look into Westeros and the Targaryens' past. And I do want to mention that this show does move at a little bit more of a brisk pace than the original Game of Thrones series. It does feel like the showrunners assume that you've seen the original, as it jumps from location to location and through different time periods rather quickly. The production and value does continue to be outstanding in this one, with stunning visuals, intricate costumes, and these humongous sets that immerse you in this world. Plus there are way more dragons this time around, and they are truly incredible creatures that come to life on screen. And not to take away from the dragons and those amazing visuals, but the cast in this is incredible as well. You've got Matt Smith, Emma Darcy, Olivia Cook, Rhys Ifans, and many others who deliver exceptional performances, bringing to life these complex and often morally gray characters, all vying for the throne. So if you love political intrigue, epic battles, and power struggles that made the Game of Thrones world so iconic, House of the Dragon offers a thrilling and immersive return back to Westeros.
Take out your blade.
Next, let's talk about the newest Max series on the list here today, and this is Dune Prophecy. And I was honestly shocked to see what the ratings were on this on IMDb. It wasn't rated as highly as I thought it would be, and this one is a prequel series set 10,000 years before the events of the Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya-led Dune movies. It does follow two Harkonnen sisters who combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish what will become known as the Bene Gesserit later on. And it does delve into the origins of this powerful sisterhood of women with extraordinary abilities. I will be honest, this series was a little bit different than I originally anticipated being going into it. It certainly fits into the world of Dune and the Dune films, but it is a different feel to the films. It starts a bit slow and it builds with its customary visions and internal monologues of the properties, but it has that first season of Game of Thrones feel to it, with its pacing being very slow, setting everything up for things to come, but they also want you to really understand the rules of this world and the lore itself. And like Game of Thrones, it has no shortage of intrigue. The series is filled with that political manipulation, power struggles, and tons of morally complex characters. Made up of this strong cast that does include names like Emily Watson, Olivia Williams, Shalom Brune Franklin, and Travis Fimmel. But what really stands out and makes this so epic, again, goes back to that world building for me. And the series expands on the Dune universe a ton, introducing new planets, cultures, and technologies with these beautiful and monstrous practical sets that you could actually walk right into. I did watch this really cool interview where the cast talks about every book in the library actually has their language printed on it, and the props are all functional in these sets. So the attention to detail and the effort put in by the production team was absolutely phenomenal. So if you enjoy stunning visuals, intricate world building like me, or the exploration of the universe of Dune, this is an outstanding option if you can handle some of those slower moments at the beginning and this very complex plot.
Get these people home, Sheriff.
Do everything I can.
Promise me.
Next up is a pick that, like Silo and Slow Horses, is one of the most commented series on this channel, and this is the series From. This one stars Harold Perrineau as Boyd Stevens, who is this man trapped in a mysterious town that no one can escape from. And the story follows him and these other townsfolk as they struggle to survive, because at night they face relentless supernatural forces that descend on them. And I honestly was totally oblivious to this show, so again, thanks to the comment section for this recommendation, because I do think this is an outstanding option, especially if you're in the mood for something creepy and suspenseful. I did think that Perrineau was really great in this one. He does anchor this show with a standout performance, but the rest of the lesser known cast deliver engaging and believable portrayals as well. They do add to the overall enjoyment of the show, as you can truly see this town of terror. And if you jump into this one thing you will notice right away is that this one does have mysteries that are layered on top of other mysteries on top of other mysteries. And so the suspense in this one is pretty relentless. And I kept telling myself when I turned this on the first time, just one more episode, because I had to know what was going to happen next, and ended up binging it pretty quickly. And I said this when I recommended From last time, it does have a bit of that Lost vibe. And yes, it has writers from Lost, it has producers from Lost, it has actors from Lost. So that's not really what I'm talking about here. It's actually the way that they put mysteries into the series, and they sometimes just pop up and sometimes just go away and you don't hear about it for a little bit. And a lot of time when I'm watching it, I was trying to decipher if they're going to be building up to something satisfying, and I really hope they do, and the show delivers answers as it goes on. But so far, I've really enjoyed From. It is a supernatural horror thriller series that keeps you on edge. The supernatural elements are fascinating and eerie, which both feed into the mysteries, of course, and the show's overall haunting atmosphere. So I'd say it's definitely worth a watch.
Oh, don't freak out and go calling for Mom.
Mom!
I'm gonna call Mom. Call Mom.
Mom!
She can't hear you.
Yes, my love. above.
I'm the supervisor.
Supervisor of what?
Let's move forward on the list here and talk about The Bear. And if you haven't checked this out yet, now is a perfect time, especially with 3 seasons out on Hulu. There is plenty to binge. This series follows Carmi, played by Jeremy Allen White, who is a young, talented chef who returns to Chicago to take over his family's struggling beef sandwich shop after his brother's death. What Carmi walks into is pure chaos, though. It's a dysfunctional kitchen crew, a messy menu, financial problems that could shut this place down, but he is driven by his love for food and his brother's legacy and sets out to transform the shop. But the journey is anything but smooth as he battles grief, frustration, and just the pressures of the culinary world. Anytime you read anything about this show, The Bear is praised left and right for its gritty and incredibly realistic portrayal of life inside a professional kitchen. The frantic energy, the stress, the camaraderie that feels super authentic, especially since it was filmed in a real Chicago sandwich shop. But beyond the chaos, it does also celebrate the passion that goes into creating this incredible food. And Jeremy Allen White absolutely shines as Carmi in this. He carries this series by perfectly capturing his struggles with grief, ambition, and the self-discovery that his character goes through on this journey. He is the heart of this show, but the entire cast adds so much. There's humor, tension, emotion that is almost impossible to not get invested in these characters. And season 3, which dropped in June, continues to impress. It continues to dive deep into the challenges Carmi faces as he juggles the demands of the restaurant while keeping his family's legacy alive. And so if you're looking for a character-driven story with emotional weight, sharp writing, and an unflinching look at the realities of the food industry, The Bear is absolutely worth checking out for yourself.
Because death can come for us at any moment.
Another title that I have recommended before, but absolutely deserves another shout out because it is one of the standout shows of this year and certainly a personal favorite of mine. And this is Shogun, which is a historical drama miniseries streaming on Hulu that just kept getting better and better with every single episode. This is set in 17th century feudal Japan, and the story follows John Blackthorne, who is an English sailor who ends up being shipwrecked on the Japanese coast. He gets thrust into a world defined by rigid social hierarchies, honor, and this warrior culture, which is extremely different from his own, but Blackthorne faces immediate suspicion and hostility. However, through his resourcefulness and intelligence, he begins to earn the respect of a powerful warlord, Lord Toranaga. And as the political landscape grows and changes, Blackthorne finds himself caught in the middle of warring factions vying for power. One thing that immediately stuck out to me in this show is the meticulous recreation of feudal Japan, offering a rich and immersive look at the customs, the traditions, and the social structures of this era. Plus, the show looks fantastic with incredible attention to detail that transports you right into the heart of 17th century Japan. Once you get past that shock and awe of the world building and the visuals, what really gets you invested in this series is the dynamic between Cosmo Jarvis as Blackthorne and Hiroyuki Sanada as Lord Toranaga. Both actors deliver powerhouse performances, and their on-screen chemistry is really phenomenal. Watching their characters navigate cultural clashes and actually these moments of mutual understanding that just is almost a look at times is extremely compelling. And this one has its own distinct style, but it delivers that same grand scale and immersive storytelling that you get in other epic series like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Vikings, or even Dune Prophecy. So I highly recommend this one for its stunning world building, the complex political intrigue that you see, and of course the outstanding performances from that lead duo.
I'm Joanne.
I'm Noah.
Did you know there's a rabbi here?
No shit.
Yeah.
Where?
He has a beard, and he was definitely judging me.
Sounds like a rabbi.
Let's go back to Netflix for our next title here, and this one looked interesting even before it came out and was featured in my What's New in October video, and I ended up so hooked that I binged this entire thing in one day, and this is Nobody Wants This on Netflix. Now I'll say this right from the start, it is a rom-com, but this is an extremely funny rom-com, so don't let the romance part lose your attention. This one stars Kristen Bell as Joanne, who is an agnostic sex podcaster, and Adam Brody as Noah, a newly single rabbi. This series follows this very unique relationship from an awkward first meeting to unlikely romance as they try to bridge the gap between their widely different lives, all while dealing with this hilarious, meddling group of family members. What really makes this series stand out is Kristen Bell and Adam Brody's performances. They play characters who could not be more different, but somehow it works in the most hilarious of ways, and their on-screen chemistry is undeniable, and whether they're trading sharp, witty banter, sharing tender, heartfelt moments, or even navigating some of the more intimate intimate scenes, they bring so much charisma to the story. Again, I found myself laughing out loud a ton with this series. It does have that lighthearted, feel-good vibe that just makes you happy and you'll catch yourself smiling through most of it. Plus, the supporting characters like Joanne's sister and mother and Noah's brother add just another level of silliness and humor with some perfectly awkward and relatable moments. So if you saw this one and you didn't give it a try, I would definitely give it another chance. I didn't expect to get so hooked on this one, but I did, and it's worth watching for Belle and Brody's performances alone, but it's also this feel-good and funny show that'll have you smiling from start to finish.
Do you know what I admire about the British aristocracy? They're the original gangsters.
Another Netflix original on the list here today is The Gentleman, which is an action comedy crime series created by Guy Ritchie that serves as a spin-off of his 2019 film. The story follows Edward, who is a young aristocrat who unexpectedly inherits his late father's massive estate, only to find out that it's actually a thriving criminal empire. And with the help of the sharp and resourceful Susie, Edward is thrust into this dangerous world of the British drug trade where he must protect his inheritance, outwit his enemies, and most importantly, survive. And first and foremost, if you're a Guy Ritchie fan or enjoy his signature style, this is going to be right up your alley. The series delivers his trademark blend of slick, well-choreographed action, sharp humor, and plenty of unexpected twists. We also see Theo James play Edward, and he's great in this leading role, nailing the transformation from an inexperienced outsider to this savvy, hardened player in the criminal world. And it's a performance that I thought really highlighted his range as an actor as he subtly evolves his character episode to episode, and he's backed by this fantastic supporting cast, including standouts from Kaya Scodelario, Vinnie Jones, Giancarlo Esposito, and Danny Ings, who all bring different elements to this series. So if you enjoy shows that move in an energetic pace with tons of dark humor and stylish action sequences, The Gentleman is an engaging and entertaining crime series that is absolutely worth checking out.
Tom what?
Ripley.
My next pick is another crime series from Netflix, and this is the gripping psychological thriller series Ripley. This is based on Patricia Highsmith's novel The Talented Mr. Ripley and delivers a chilling dive into the manipulative world of this mysterious Tom Ripley character. Played by Andrew Scott, Ripley is a young grifter sent to Italy to retrieve a wealthy man's son, but as he becomes increasingly fixated on this man's charming lifestyle, his ambitions and sociopathic tendencies spiral into obsession, leading to a trial of deadly consequences. And while this isn't the first adaptation of Highsmith's novel, there is a 1999 film starring Matt Damon, Jude Law, and Gwyneth Paltrow. This one here digs much deeper into the character's psyche and motivations, and it's a slower, more meticulous exploration of this and the obsession, the manipulation, and the murder that feels haunting thanks to Andrew Scott's performance. And I guess just based on the trailer way back before it was released that Andrew Scott's performance would be a standout of this series, and I'm gonna triple down here and say that I was right. Scott is incredible. He masterfully embodies the character of Ripley. He is this mysterious and charming man one moment, and then at the flip of a switch he becomes this deadly and unsettling sociopath, and sometimes it's just his facial expressions that give off this chilling vibe. And if you watch this series, there's one thing that definitely makes this stand apart, and it's this stunning black and white cinematography that they used, which perfectly captures the beauty and the opulence of 1950s Italy while adding an eerie and timeless quality to the story. So if you're a fan of psychological crime thrillers, I would absolutely give Ripley a chance.
It's a broken world, Michelle. Put it together.
We couldn't do anything.
Next is the first show on this list from AMC Plus, and this is The Walking Dead: The Ones Who Lived. And by now, the Walking Dead franchise is so iconic that most people who they didn't watch it know what it is, but even myself had a little bit of Walker fatigue at one point, but this was the perfect option to jump back in, especially to see the return of two fan favorite characters with Rick and Michonne. The series reunites them in this post-apocalyptic world that feels both familiar, it's also refreshingly different, packed with unique challenges, new human factions, and of course plenty of the undead. And in this series we see Rick and Michonne's journey of rediscovering who they are and also finding each other. And for longtime fans like me, seeing Andrew Lincoln return as Rick and Denai Guerrero wielding Michonne's iconic samurai sword is worth the watch alone. And their performances bring so much depth to these beloved characters as they played them for such a long time, and it's just exciting to see their story continue. But Visually, the series maintains the high production value that The Walking Dead was able to get to, with impressive sets, makeup, special effects that are top-notch that bring this post-apocalyptic world to life. Unlike the sprawling, interconnected narratives of that original series, The Ones Who Live does focus on a smaller, more intimate story. It's a tighter scope that works really well, introducing this fresh apocalyptic setting while keeping the suspenseful tone and unpredictability that we've loved from this franchise, where you're always asking who's next. So if you've missed Rick and Michonne, or you're just ready to revisit the Walking Dead universe, The Ones Who Live is absolutely worth checking out. Oh, and I also want to mention The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon. It's another spin-off series that follows the iconic character Daryl Dixon, of course, in the post-apocalyptic France. The show explores his journey through this dangerous world filled with walkers and unique challenges, and obviously you get Norman Reedus back in this one with another strong performance, capturing Daryl's intensity and quiet strength. And it certainly is a change of pace with this French setting, offering a fresh backdrop, introducing new threats and challenges. It's just another cool option that explores an iconic character from this franchise.
If I don't make it back, I want him to know I tried. I'm still trying.
The world needs the Avatar. It needs you, Aang.
Our next title on Netflix, which I'm not sure if it's just a great show or I hold it so highly because of my affinity for the source material, but this is the live adaptation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Again, I'm a huge fan of the original animated Nickelodeon series and someone who was seriously let down by the movie adaptation, so I hoped and prayed for them not to screw this one up. And I can safely say this adaptation is outstanding. The story follows Aang, this 12-year-old boy who awakens after being frozen in ice for 100 years. And as the legendary Avatar, Aang must master all 4 elements and defeat the Fire Nation, which has been waging war during his century-long absence. Alongside his new friends, Katara and Sokka, he embarks on an epic quest to restore balance in the world. This one stays faithful to the heart of the original series, capturing the adventurous spirit, themes, and the iconic bending martial arts style that fans love from the cartoon. And the young cast shines, bringing these beloved characters to life with charm and authenticity and performances that feels like these characters just step right out of the TV. Again, this is a series that is visually stunning. It does have those beautiful sets, these incredibly accurate costumes, and the cool recreation of iconic creatures and locations from the series, truly bringing this world to life. The narrative itself strikes a great balance between thrilling action and lighthearted humor, giving longtime fans a mix of familiar moments and fresh takes on the storylines, and it even removes some of the fluff from the animated series, which I didn't actually mind. So this live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender is a well-crafted adaptation that honors the original animated series while delivering impressive visuals, strong performances, and a journey that feels both nostalgic and exciting. Definitely worth checking out for yourself.
This is going to be marvelous.
Next up on our list is the Hulu series Rivals, which is a British comedy drama series based on Jilly Cooper's novel of the same name. And this one is an edgy, entertaining, and often humorous take on the lives of British aristocracy in the 1980s, where we see 2 powerful men become rivals in literally every sense of the word. The series has a great cast that makes up these engaging and often larger than life characters. You have the charismatic and ruthless Rupert Campbell Black to the ambitious and determined Declan O'Hara in this one, who are brought to life by an impressive cast with Aidan Turner, Nafisa Williams, Alex Hassel, and the forever amazing David Tennant. This one is also filled with a ton of British humor, including witty banter, clever one-liners, and sharp social commentary that I truly enjoyed. It did keep me laughing, but the series never did get overly silly, as it's a pretty intense drama that does have an intriguing plot full of twists and turns that do keep you fully engaged. Plus, it looks really interesting, depicting this time period with lavish sets and costumes that capture the glamour and excess of the 1980s. And I do want to mention, per usual, this is a mature rated series with more than a little sexual content and nudity in it. So if that's not for you, I might skip this one. But for me, Rivals is a fun and entertaining series that offers a glimpse into the glamorous and scandalous world of British aristocracy. Absolutely a fun watch.
Whatever it is, it's watching and listening.
To So last but not least on our list here today is The Three Body Problem you can find on Netflix. And this is a sci-fi drama series that is released way back in March. And the series takes us through multiple timelines chronicling humanity's first contact with an alien civilization on the brink of destruction. We see aliens intercept a signal from Earth and then they plan an invasion, and different factions within humanity react in unexpected ways, some willing to welcome the aliens as these superior beings, while others are determined to fight back. But the central story does follow a group of brilliant scientists who are dealing with the looming invasion and their own personal dilemmas at this time. I'll start off by saying that this show is produced by Benioff and Weiss, which is the same production team that brought us Game of Thrones, and I feel like this one carries a similar high production value. The visuals are great, showcasing intricate virtual worlds, vast locations, and these crazy futuristic technologies. And it is clear that this series is setting the stage for something bigger long term, where the initial plot points and character setups hint at larger developments. And just like Benioff and Weiss's previous works, you can expect the unexpected here. Characters' fates are never guaranteed, which keeps the suspense pretty high. And the show, it masterfully weaves together the real timelines, the future and the past, as well as these virtual timelines you're exploring, all while this alien threat hangs over every decision. Beyond Benioff and Weiss, one of the biggest draws for me for this one here personally was the actual cast. You have Benedict Wong, Jess Hong, Liam Cunningham, Alex Sharp, and Isa Gonzalez, who all have quality performances portraying the fear in the face of this alien threat. But I didn't think that 8 episodes was enough time to really develop these characters enough yet. And we'll have to wait for seasons 2 and 3, but on a positive note, they're said to already be in production. So if you're looking for a visually stunning sci-fi series with a fantastic cast, Three Body Problem is a great place to start. Thanks for hanging out with us all the way to the end. Take a second to enter to win that $100 gift card by liking, subscribing, and commenting your favorite show down in the comments below. And it does really help us get our recommendations out for others looking for great shows and movies. But thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.